It's so easy to assume that it's just going to play out a particular way because that's how it's always been, or this is what always happens to me. But that is closing the door to possibility, and it keeps us caught in the fabric, in the weave of the story and of the weave of the limitation of how the universe actually works. We've all come here with a divine purpose, traveling on a stream of cosmic dust from the stars into our mother's wombs, born into this precious life. It is no accident that you are here, my love, on earth, in this moment, in this body. You are here longing to find your place, to align with your purpose, to embody your passions and to live into the dreams of your heart. Yet so often we get caught, suspended in the tangle of life, not able to move forward, not able to find solace and comfort in a world that has forgotten the truth of our existence. As we begin to remember, as we peel back the layers, as we come together to uncover our unique gifts and reconnect with our authentic selves, we are able to see another way of being, a new possibility, a different life waiting to be lived. I have experienced on this complicated and wild journey of life that when we connect with the story of our soul, it will show us the magic of this life that we have been missing. It will open a window into the very heart of who we truly are, of who we came here to be, and gives us answers to our ever-asking why. Hello, my beloveds. Welcome back to another episode. Thanks for being here, as always, on this journey, this wild ride of life. So today our topic is inspired by one of the incredible women that I work with, one of my clients, and also by an experience in my own life. And so asking questions. I experience that we decide too early how something is going to go. And we stop ourselves from asking important questions. And what I love about questions is that questions open a portal. They let us see something different. When we are being willing to sit inside of an uncomfortable situation and show up and ask a question, we allow the energy, the architecture of the moment to shift. Because that question creates something new and it creates an ability to see something different. So recently in my own life, I need to make a decision. And instead of just making that decision based on the information that I currently held, I decided that I would reach out and ask a question. And it was an uncomfortable question. It definitely, I had a need that I was hoping could be met. And I reached out and just kind of let myself be really vulnerable in the moment, explain my situation and the need that I had. And then the person, graciously met me inside of that conversation. We deepened the conversation and then we said, hey, let's take a couple days and let's figure out how we are going to approach this need. So then I let it go. We do surrender, right? We can not control, that's not the word that I want to use there, the language, but we can decide what we are going to do. And then we have to let the rest unfold and let the universe do its part. So during this time of surrendering to the process, I saw something incredibly different about my situation. Something I hadn't seen before, something maybe just my consciousness hadn't expanded into yet. There was another path forward. And this path forward was created by the question and by the conversation that I chose to have. Had I not had that conversation and asked that question, I would have gone on a different trajectory. And now I'm not saying either is good or bad or worse than the other or better than the other. They're just different. There are different ways that I can see the situation, and they are going to lead me both in a different direction. And what changed is it's not about the path, but it's a way that I stand inside the step that I am going to take. What I see is more clear. What I understand inside of me feels more grounded, feels more aligned, more in integrity. And I was able to see that because of the question, because of the uncomfortable moment that I chose to step into. So this is one example, right, of asking questions and how they move our life forward and how they change us at the level of consciousness. Now, the other thing that can happen when we ask this question is that we really are letting ourselves be seen. And inside of this, there's incredible potential for something to rise up, right? Because essentially, when we ask that question, we have opened the door into the unseen world. And we've opened it in a couple of different ways. One way is saying, hey, spirit, show me, universe, step in here and help me. I've opened this door to possibility. The other one is that we open the door to the unconscious, to the subconscious, right? To the parts of our psyche that are hidden, that are caught in old patterns, in old programs, in old stories. And when we are willing to get uncomfortable and show up differently and ask anyway, we throw open that door for the unconscious part of us to run through. And when this happens, all kinds of emotions can show up. We can feel incredibly vulnerable. And this is because somebody was willing to see us and hear us. And the first person in that line is you, right? You were willing to be seen and you were willing to be heard. No matter the outcome, no matter how it's received, but the willingness in you to be authentically true to what it is that you need and what it is that you want. And you're willing to do something about it. Because, my loves, it is so easy to just stay in the known. It's so easy to assume what the answer to your question would be. It's so easy to assume that it's just going to play out a particular way because that's how it's always been, or this is what always happens to me. But that is closing the door to possibility, and it keeps us caught in the fabric, in the weave of the story and of the weave of the limitation of how the universe actually works, right? So questions are freeing, they're expansive, they're exploratory. They can make things wild and uncertain. This is also another aspect of asking questions, right? We say, I'm stepping off the path of the known and I'm throwing open the door and I'm going on this adventure. Don't know where it's going to take me, but you know what? I'm going to ask. Because I believe, I experience is a better word to say, that we don't know, right, what the answer to that question is. And I can hear and agree that sometimes with particular people, you're always going to get the same answer. Is always the right word there? Probably, possibly, oftentimes, where you're going to receive a similar answer, right? But then in that place, are you showing up with the same question? Would be my curiosity. Because if we keep asking the same question, we will get the same answer. However, if we drop the identity of the person that was asking the question and we choose to assume an identity of a person that asks a different question and is prepared for a different outcome, then even the person that tends to answer the same way has the opportunity to be different, to meet you differently, because you are different and you are showing up with a different question in a different energy. Therefore, they have to as well. And so for me, I've lived by this sort of internal knowing that I might as well ask, because currently the answer is no, or the outcome is predictable because of the moment I am in. And if I don't ask, well, then the answer is right here in front of me and it's no, or it is what I have. However, if we can muster the courage, the fortitude, the place inside us that knows that we want something different, and we can step into that moment and ask the question, then there's always a chance. Always is a good word there. Always a chance that something new can happen from that moment. And so why not ask? Because you already have the answer that is known and it doesn't work. You're wanting to ask the question because you want a different answer. Currently, you have an answer, and currently you have a predictable path connected to that answer. So why not ask? You already are going to get what you've got. There's no difference in that, right? But asking opens some opportunity for something different to happen. So this is the power. This is a very, very potent tool in moving our life forward, in pursuing the things that we love, in deepening the relationships that we currently have or are endeavoring to have, right? To create and change. And what asking questions does, it deepens the relationship with yourself, with your own internal knowing that you are a creator, that you are deserving, that you are allowed, right? You don't actually need anybody's permission to do anything. And I'm happy that that came through, because asking questions is not about asking permission. I'm not talking about those types of questions, right? If those are a lower sort of level of questions where we feel that we are asking a question because we need permission, we're in a very different energy when we ask a question from that place versus asking a question from our heart, from a deepening of our loving, from an expanding of our life, not because we need someone to say yes and give us permission to do something. We want our questions to create, to expand, to give life to allow you to be fully alive. These are the type of questions that I am talking about, the ones that make you feel on fire, the ones that make you feel alive and vulnerable, and as if there is something that is worth the risk. So, I'd love to hear, what are you asking today? What is your question? Where are you willing to deepen in your life so that something new can happen, that you can see and be with a different level of yourself and your life? And if you want more of this, you're listening to this and you're saying to yourself, yes, 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 I want to ask more questions. I want to be more alive in everything I do. I don't want to wait. I don't want to say, well, I'll ask my question once XYZ happens, or I'm allowed to do this once I have enough time, or I have enough money, or these types of ways of thinking keep you stuck here. And I know those of you listening, you want to move, you want to feel free, you want to fly. And we have many ways to support you in that. School for the Soul has multiple self-study programs that you can dive in to support you on your journey, your intuitive journey, your purposeful journey, your authentic journey, and also the journey, which is our haven, our space of creativity, our place of exploration and expansion and development. There's links in the show notes to both of these places. Come join us, come play with us. Let's do this together. I love you.